Well, here it is. I finally got a Xbox Series X console. Yep, I finally got it. Sorry if the angle's off, you can't really see my face, but anyway, the more important of the picture is I got the Xbox Series X, and I'm about to give it a test drive. It is March 30th, 2022. Practically a year and a half into the current gen that we're in of gaming. And since this JR's Live Journals is dedicated mostly to gaming, I thought maybe when I buy a new gen console or a current gen console for the first time, I'd share it here. Might even do it if I buy anything else video game related and testing it out for the first time, so I kind of have some memories of it. And even if it don't work out, that maybe I could even learn more about my bad experience if that were to happen. But anyway, I'm gonna open this and we're gonna, review what's inside the box. Anyway. Alright, now that I've opened the box, apparently I can see the console right there. It's sealed tight for protection. It's got a good layer around it and all that. I certainly am hoping that, I ordered this off of Walmart.com, and they had a lot of them in that day. Luckily, you know how the supply shortage is for the pandemic and everything, and, yeah, I'm actually one of the lucky few that has one of these, but I just hope that they added all the, stuff that's going to be needed, like the controllers and all that. But, yeah, right there, that looks pretty good. I love the way they packaged it up so far. Alright, now that I've opened the box, apparently I can see the console right there. It's sealed tight for protection. It's got a good layer around it and all that. I certainly am hoping that, I ordered this off of Walmart.com, and they had a lot of them in that day. Luckily, you know how the supply shortage is for the pandemic and everything, and, yeah, I'm actually one of the lucky few that has one of these, but I just hope that they added all the stuff that's going to be needed, like the controllers and all that. But, yeah, right there, that looks pretty good. I love the way they packaged it up so far. Okay, I will cut to the chase. I don't want to show you the whole entire packaging, but there was like another inner box in there. It can't be seen right away when you open the box, and I just didn't want to go that into detail with this because other people on YouTube, I'm sure, have done an unboxing video, and when I do unboxings and reviews on material, I don't like to go that much into detail with them, but I try to make it as quick and brief as possible to give you all an idea of what to expect if you do decide to stumble upon this. Well, anyway, came with this instruction manual, or the guide, which is actually a very paramount feature if you run into like any kind of difficulties later with it and understanding what to expect. I know one thing it's probably gonna say is that you need to unplug it during a storm for sure, or any of that, because storms, especially when there's a power outage, it can really have a bad effect on how the system functions. So you definitely need to obviously remember to power off any Xbox, particularly a Xbox One or an Xbox Series X model like what I've got. Yeah, this is the Xbox Series X. It's not the S, but it's the X. So, yeah. And since I've got a 4K TV that I bought a year ago, I mean, this should work and run no problem on it. So, shouldn't have any problems there. Alright. Also, you've got USB cables for the TV side. Yeah, rolled up. I'm going to have to unroll those later when I give it a whirl. Alright, yep, we got that. Unfortunately, I don't have any games for this thing yet, so I'll just have to hope my external hard drive with all the games I have synced on there that are digital will work. The AV cord, of course, or I mean not your AV cord, but your AC plug adapter. That's what I meant to call it. We don't have AV cords anymore of these things. The AV cords are kind of past like their 90s, 2000s stuff, but that kind of made things a little easier. I think you could still like use AV for like a lot of this stuff, but you have to like buy separate parts in order to get the AV to function, something like that. But anyway, as for Xbox Series X, And probably the same thing for Xbox One S or X. I mean, I don't know if AV cables would work on those due to how advanced they are, but I know a lot of times when it came to certain Xbox 360 models, I mean, it required you to buy, like, if it didn't, like, come directly with AV, you would have to buy it separate. Or, like, a certain thing to, like, if you wanted to play it on a regular TV set, I mean, it came with the AV cables, but it wouldn't work on, like, every TV. That's what I was kind of getting at. And you would have to, like, buy separate parts. And, as for this time, it's obvious that an Xbox Series X would work if you had like a basic TV from like say 1990 or 1985 or whatever. Yeah, but obviously an Xbox Series X wouldn't work on one of those due to the technology being much more advanced for its display and all that. I don't want to go further into detail, but anyway, I'm going to go on ahead and unpackage it, and I'm going to give it a whirl already. Alright, obviously with this cheaply made camera that I bought from Walmart after my other one broke, and even my other one probably wouldn't give that much better of a view. It's kind of a little bit difficult to see, but yeah, unpackaged, I thought maybe I'd just, even though I was going to give it a whirl, I just wanted to kind of look what that's like on the outside. Maybe I'll go on ahead real quick and yep, right here's the controller. Yeah, it's not really what I was expecting. I was expecting it to look a little better than this. Even the control stick, like what some have suggested, at least on this model, feels about like it's got the same stability that the Xbox One had. For the most part, it looks like your typical Xbox One controller with maybe a little bit of difference, but I can't really see a whole lot of it right with this one at least. But got the typical Y, B, and X and A buttons that Xbox is known for. Originally, I was going to get a PlayStation 5 first, but those are hard to come by and probably will be hard to come by for the next several years. So the stock shortages, I mean, it'll be at least maybe a couple of years before I can get my hands on a PlayStation 5, but I'll be saving up for one nonetheless. That's good to know that I've come up with ways to save money. But, yeah, that's the controller. Yeah, looks, in my opinion, it's very remarkably similar to the Xbox One controller for the most part. I mean, but now, looking at this little detail, the directional pad has a different, it looks similar to what it did on the Xbox 360, where it's not just a plain old X, it's a circle. Well, they may have made some Xbox One controllers like this too, but maybe I just never had them. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to get this thing started soon. Yep, right there I am. Yep, sorry about the angle being off, but yeah, right now I got a few updates going on. But yeah, I was able to set this thing up no problem. I mean, I ran into one little more or less mishap earlier. I mean, when I didn't have my wired connection plugged in right off the bat. I mean, I thought I did, but just all this excitement and all that, and what goes on in my life, you know, I mean, there's just so much, you know, stimulus and all that I kind of forgot to plug my wired connection into my router, even though I had it plugged into the Xbox, I still had my computer plugged in, but yeah. This is the first video I have made in like many months too, because I've kind of been taking time off on the fact that I kind of consider myself semi-retired from YouTubing and all that, sharing stuff. I tell you, but I never really intended to be one of those famous YouTubers that gets paid and all that. So yeah, I'm not doing this for popularity. I just do all this stuff for fun, unlike most. And yeah, I'm still waiting for those updates. I know I update my console, and it'll probably be a little bit more strict on stuff like not uploading stuff like the RetroArch and all that onto this, but since I'm not really a technology expert and I don't even have a decent PC at the moment, desktop computer to like do all the stuff to upgrade this thing, I think that would probably be a good idea. And besides, I still have that Super Console X that I reviewed last year, so yeah, we're pretty much good on that. And if I want to play classic gamings, I can easily emulate them on my computer anyway, so that even though it would be fun to play them on an Xbox console, I understand that, there's limits to all this stuff anyway. And limits to what you get out of life. Like to give a shout out to Perry on the Game Complainers, thanks to me watching his podcast, a little bit of his podcast last week. I hadn't watched the whole podcast show, but I do follow the Game Complainers, Perry, and he's a pretty good YouTuber. Shout out to him. I'd like to thank him for letting me and many people know that these were finally in stock last week. Again, this is rough times for technology. For this stuff gets sold out pretty fast. Scalpers get their hands on it and all that. So as soon as they become available, you got to go right and get them. But that's easier said than done for the PlayStation 5, as many of you all may already know, because PlayStation 5s are selling out like wildfire by scalpers, not giving not giving very many people a chance to buy one. So yeah, that's one thing to consider why you have to pay so much for this stuff. I paid $800 for this, or it was quite a bit over $800, but I think it's probably going to be worth it. And we're going to try right now. I don't have any new games for this thing, but I've got all my digital content right here. What game should we play first on this thing? Boy, it's a tough decision. Yeah, right there I got Quake. That's a newer game. I got the Resident Evil 2 remake. And I even got since Resident Evil 4 is my favorite 3D game of all time, I believe I will play it first. Yeah, why not? Getting your game ready. This might, yeah, that's the way they are, though. Yeah. I plan on getting Resident Evil Village 2. Yeah, I know that's already been out for almost a year, and I still haven't played it yet. Just to remind some of you, if you are to kind of stumble upon this, the fact that I've uploaded a video after like not so long. I mean, after so long, I meant to say after so long, boy, my words don't come out right a lot. I'm just a goofball by nature. But, yeah, I mean, the fact that, yeah, it's been months since I've last uploaded, and, like I said, I guess we'll just start a new game this time around. I know, I saved a lot of my stuff from my Xbox One and all that. Oh boy, yeah, apparently, but yeah, well, let's just start a new game this time. I've played with the Chicago typewriter, the Tommy gun, long enough. Can't wait to find out how, see if there's like any difference in performance. There's true 4K quality on this. I mean, I saved the quality from my other console, but it should run smoother and all that now, so don't really have anything to worry about there, I wouldn't think. Yeah. This was the first Resident Evil game I ever played, and it's good to know that those that didn't play Resident Evil 2, Leon's telling you all about his adventure there. And I have played the Resident Evil 2 remake quite a few times, and I've tried the original version of Resident Evil 2, but the voice acting was dull at the time due to the fact how the graphics were and all that. They really couldn't provide that good of voice acting for such graphics in game. But yeah, not sure if I'm seeing any difference yet, but looks like it plays a little better in the 4K format on the Xbox Series X over the Xbox One S nonetheless. And it's good to know that this Xbox One game in particular, the remastered version of Resident Evil 4 on the Xbox One, seems to be working pretty great so far. I mean, like I said, I think the 4K Ultra quality has a bit of an improvement. Sorry about that angle again. Since this is another testing the waters thing, I don't really think that should matter anyway. Leon's so sarcastic. It's what makes him one of the best characters in the franchise. He's definitely a better protagonist over Chris Redfield, too. Just the fact that I think Chris gets a little overconfident sometimes. I mean, of course, Sadler calls Leon overconfident at one part too, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's a flaw that Chris has over Leon. I'm just getting to that point. I can hear the music a whole lot better this time around in the Xbox Series X. I'm glad I got an X model over an S though. I mean, the Xbox Series S isn't even that much of an improvement over the Xbox One S, which I already have, so I'm actually thankful that I got this instead. Yeah, and I just decided to, since it's my first time playing this on the Xbox Series X, might as well start a fresh game anyway, you know? I know they released this on that Facebook thing on, yeah, I can't remember its name now. It's kind of slipped my mind, but yeah, that Facebook gaming app service or whatever that thing is, yeah, Oculus, I think is what it's called. Yeah, Facebook Oculus. They released this in first-person shooter. It's like, man, if only they could have released it on like the PlayStation VR. I think that probably would have been, you know, maybe more or less icing on the cake because, of course, they want to kind of get other people into Resident Evil franchise, and you know, this game is a good start for anybody. Just speaking from experience, Resident Evil 4, this original version here, is a good place to start too, I think. Especially if you weren't allowed to play M-rated games in the 90s, figuratively speaking. Tell you, I'm such an expert at this game now, pretty much. But I probably still have a lot to learn from it. It's just a thing, you know, there's always something new to learn with this stuff. That's what makes it so special. Yeah, the joystick's a little bit more smoother than what it kind of appeared at first. It's kind of got similar handling to what the Xbox 360 controller had. At the same time, it feels a little maybe so-called fragile though. So a word of advice, try not to put too much pressure on the joystick when you're playing because it might easily break if you put way too much pressure on it. I mean, there are a lot of people that just get that hyped up for this stuff and you may have like a thing or two go wrong. Again, like I was saying about the fact that I didn't have my wire hooked up right off the bat when I turned it on, I mean, I might run into an issue. I wouldn't be surprised, but for the time being, I mean, it seems to be playing pretty smoothly. And like I said, you know, I think the 4K quality and seems to play at a greater frames per second too. Other than that, I don't see a significant, drastic difference between it playing on here and the Xbox One S. So I would probably have to get a new, more recent game on the Xbox Series X to get a full, to get a full, knowledge of or accuracy about how much different this is compared to the Xbox Series. I mean, with the Xbox One S, maybe even the Series S, because I've never had an S model, at least as of right now. And you never know. I probably might along the lines maybe buy an Xbox Series S model just so I have a backup. And the fact that I'm a gamer and technology nut, even though I'm not really the best expert when it comes to knowing how a lot of times they function and how to fix them, but I'm definitely an amateur in that rank. Yeah, you can hear those other Ganados outside. They're waiting for Leon to come down, of course. Oh, man. Unfortunately, I couldn't kill him from the window. I've done it before, though. Oh, man. Goodness. I tell you, you got these bloodthirsty Ganados. They're a whole lot more, they're a whole lot more aggressive and, they don't hold back at all. They're more, it's us or them kind of attitude thing compared to the zombies in the regular games for sure. If you've never played this one, but played the originals, even the remakes, and not this yet. Would have said a long time ago, or even about a year ago, that it would have been a bad idea for them to remake this game. Since they remade the first three original games, it would be a bad idea for them to remake this too. But now, having played the originals, I think a remake of this would actually be splendid. Yeah, it looks like the game saves pretty good too on here. They usually Xbox models, even going all the way back to the original Xbox, they usually have a thing saved in, so you don't have to buy a memory card anymore, which is good. PlayStation 4 was like that too, and I would think that the PlayStation 5 is also like that. Buying a memory card could be too much work anyway. And now if you buy one used and you don't have a memory card right off the bat, I mean, you buy a used like PlayStation 2, you have to buy a memory card alongside it. I almost shot the wolf. Just all this excitement and all that. I sure am glad that I could get this, though. I feel pretty lucky right now. But I'm not gonna get too cocky about it either. I mean, it is exciting, but I understand that there are a lot of people who've already got S models of these at best, so I guess it's nothing to really be super excited about. Yeah, not to mention but seeing is the fact that where we're at in the gen right now, unlike the other gens, like it improving after a couple of years, it's probably going to be longer before that happens this time. Because how they were to make these and all that. I mean, because it seems like, the more we advance in technology in this generation, it seems like there's later, all things considered, there's going to be probably lesser things that they can improve on. Other than the fact that they could make the graphics a bit more sharper, maybe even get it to where it looks almost like it's maybe even 4D over 3D, 5D. It's amazing on what directions they can go to later. I know there was some extra health and stuff back there, but I'm really that good at this game on the normal mode, so they're not really of importance for me at this time. Yep, just the playing manual that I'm that familiar with. Like I said, I mean, not a huge improvement, but it does run a little smoother and in better frames per second than on the compared onto the Xbox One S. The Xbox Series X definitely has 4K quality. Yes, it's like popping a Blu-ray into a 4K Ultra player. I mean, the quality's that good. Had to take down the evil Dr. Quinn medicine woman first. I know they're behind me. That's behind you, imbecile. Thanks to some helpful videos on YouTube on how you get the Ganado's speech decoded from Spanish to English. I know when they say betrata be bessie, that means behind you, and they're about to attack you from behind too. You really want to look out when you hear them say that. Huh. He almost got me with that pitchfork. Aw, great. Yep, they came in. The key is to just hold them off here, because this is like one of those little miniature boss fights, similar to what will happen later with Luis Serra, I mean, it's like you just keep shooting them until they back off. So that's like, you really have very little to worry about at this part. Even though I used to panic at this, the first, I don't know how many times I played this, but the more I played, the more I pretty much figured it out and understood it. And what better place to hide than in this bedroom? There's a dirty bed here. It appears that the stains are a person's blood. Well, yeah. Huh. Merchant will buy it at a high price. Yeah, that you know for sure. They won't stop banging that door, will they? Of course not. Oh, boy. I don't want to wear out the controller just yet, so alright. Throw another one at them. Oh, boy, more of them are on the run. Perhaps I should have saved that other one, but I didn't know exactly how many of them were behind the ones that were at the door, though. I don't want to go in there yet. And besides, you go in there, it lasts even longer, and I ain't ready to put up with Dr. Salvador just yet either, so if you're wondering who Dr. Salvador... Oh, what do you know? Dr. Salvador was right there. He's the chainsaw guy. Apparently that's what the guy's name is. Okay. Once I get to another save point, I'll try another game on here real fast. Where's everyone going? Bingo, yeah, because You know how like rural towns will have a bingo session and all that. He's thinking, since this is like a rural part of Europe, that all these people are about to go for bingo, so that they can play to get money because they seem poor and all that. Yeah, that's just my theory as to why I think Leon made the bingo remark. All right. Yeah, but before we gonna probably get that rifle in here. Okay. Yeah, I know, and ironically, this was the last game I played on this channel too. Just looking back at it, that was back in October. And yeah, I'll probably have to start that over again. But then again, maybe I'll just continue because I remember where it was I left off after we encountered Ada after the Garden of Salazar. Okay, read the note. Alert order. Recently there has been information that a United States government agent is here investigating the village. Do not let this American get in contact with the prisoner. Yeah, just picturing the village chief of this game, My fellow men, stay alert. You share the same blood as us, it seems. Nevertheless, you're an outsider. Just remember, if you come unpleasant to our eyes, you're facing severe consequences. Basically, his only quotes in the whole game, unless you include those notes that he leaves. More of them are behind me. Love how the game plays, though, nonetheless. It's awesome. Just as he was going to throw that hatchet at me again, blew him to smithereens just before he could do it. Yeah, but it cost them one of their cows, sadly. They can make a good cheeseburger out of it. 1,000 right there. Oh man. He hit me with that hatchet or meat cleaver, whatever that thing's supposed to be. Oh boy. Need to get to a save point here so I can play another game real fast. Don't have a whole lot of time to test the waters on this thing very much, but yeah, gonna be doing a little bit with it though. use a couple of those chicken eggs. Oh yeah, they restore your health pretty decently, I think. Alright. I'm going to save it right here. And, just... Alright. I will go on ahead and look for another, yeah. You know, boy. Yeah, the 2016 version of Doom. You know, let's play that. Even though I would, man, we can play Arkham Knight some later. And we're testing this stuff even more later. As a text message from my driver. I'll reply to him here in just a bit. Been a little while since I've loaded up this game, so loading up. Hope everything's okay with the server on this. A while back, it was taking forever for a lot of this to load. And there we go. Still haven't got Doom Eternal yet, but I'll be getting it soon. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be better than this one, but yeah, Doom. This is like the best scenario right here, the second level. So I'll just go on ahead and play this map real fast, and then I guess I'll conclude it for this test run, and then I'll do some more later if this thing holds up and is an overall success. Yeah, right there's my highest score. I mean, it's not the yeah, I still haven't won a medal for this map yet, not even on the lowest stage, but I'm gonna probably see if maybe I can achieve that today. Just making sure that my video was still recording there. One of the antagonists of the game, although we're just playing the arcade map mode, so that doesn't really matter here. Yeah, the graphics are a little bit more enhanced on Doom 2016 even. Not an earlier video, I mistakenly put 19 over 16. Because I wasn't entirely certain when this one come out. I don't know why I was thinking this game came out much later. Guess from where I've not been much of a Doom follower until kind of recent days, that's kind of what did it. definitely have future plans to join Game Pass too, because I hear Game Pass has got like a lot of titles, and you can even like play the game without buying it first, and you can buy it later if you like it. Which is that's one of the like cool features that the Game Pass feature has when you play Xbox Series X or S or even Xbox One. Oh no. Down you go. Oh man. Not good. Try the other weapon on the yeah, there we go. Go up there and get that extra life, you get more of a score. I guess it doesn't really entirely matter here though. Alright. If I had more subscribers, like way more subscribers, and I had better internet connection that would support streaming, I'd do streaming on this channel, but apparently that ain't really the case though for me. Yeah, I live in a rural area. Alright, gotta figure. Yeah, because I gotta get the key from the one knocked out guard, which is nearby here. I haven't actually played this in a while, interestingly. Oh man, I died already. Yeah, because that thing crushed me. Well, anyway, I was gonna play the whole map, but I kind of had that little unexpected mishap. But anyway, yeah, I guess I'll play and test this thing some more later. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the video.